Hello and welcome viewers, it's me, James Alexander, and today I am in Pattaya and I've come to interview a very special person indeed, as always with my guests. Mr. DJ Graham Gold, who actually started and kick-started off the Friday night show on Kiss FM, taking over from Judge Jules and Danny Rampling. Graham has kindly agreed for the Phangan Bowl to come and interview him and to film his first gig of a residency that's just starting at the brand new Bling Club on Buakhao in Pattaya. So if dance music is your thing, then please stay tuned, as I think you're going to enjoy this episode. Welcome, you're watching the Phangan Bowl. How you doing, viewers? This evening I am sat in the Holiday Inn Express, and I would like to give a huge thank you to the Holiday Inn for allowing us to actually film this interview here today. And
with a big Christmas tree on the way out the front already, and it's not even December. Hello.
And I'm sat with, of course, the legend DJ Graham Gold. How are you doing?
I'm after an eventful journey here. I'm doing good. 4K on a scooter taxi in the worst traffic ever because they got fireworks in the city tonight. So landed at Suvarnabhumi. They have Bolt here, which is a bit like Uber in the UK, and but very good driver, but I didn't want to make him sit in the traffic, so I said, if you can find me a scooter taxi, and he was on the phone to his friend, and yeah, so all good, and luckily this is what I travelled in. So tonight I'm going to be wearing my brand new Frangipani shirt, the new one with the Function 1 speakers on.
Great.
Very, it's good plug for Frangipani shirts, by the way. But no, I'm good. Thank you, James.
I just wanted to thank you for spending the time to talk to us today.
My pleasure.
I know you're here and there, and you're busy, certainly with your DJ schedule, but we'll get into that in a second. I just wanted to say, I mean, I DJ myself, and I have to say, as a huge fan of dance music, and having been around during the days when EDM really took a hold of the world, when I hear your name, it reminds me of DJs like Alex P, Brandon Block, Jeremy Healy, Seb Fontaine, Judge Jules, and of course Sasha. And it takes me back to
thank you. He put me on the same level as Sasha. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the almighty Sasha.
God.
I mean, partying at that time was just on the forefront of everyone's agenda. I wanted to ask you, what was it like during that time?
It was insane. It was absolutely beyond insane. And I think, when was it, 2014, I did a 4-country tour in a month, and that killed me. But, you know, back in the day, in the halcyon years of house, when my international career took off, 93, I was in the summer months, you know, which was, you know, when Ibiza was Ibiza back in 93, 94, 5, 6. You know, it was beginning of June to the end of September, and I was getting on a plane every day, Monday, Friday, going somewhere.
Right.
But you did it, and but when I did it a month back in 2014, 4 countries in a month, absolutely killed me. So I could never do it again. But it was insane. But you know, it was just, I mean, I hate the age that I am, because I really wish I was 30 years younger, or 20 years.
You just absolutely loved it.
Yeah. But what was good about being my age is that I had done the soul thing, the disco thing, then the soul thing.
Well, I mean, I looked into your career, your very impressive career and rise to fame, and I've got to read this out for those that might not be aware of who you are. How people might not know who you are is incredulous. But yeah, following your time hosting the breakfast show and the chart show with Kiss FM in the 1990s, I did read that you went on to inherit Judge Jules and Danny Rampling's slot on Radio 1, but I know you said to me...
Yeah, no, I did. No, on Kiss, when Jules and Danny went to Radio 1, I inherited their shows on Kiss. I must point out here and now is that I got the breakfast show and the chart show. They're the two whilst they have the biggest audiences on a radio station, musically, they have to be lowest common denominator because people have to wake up to music they know, they're familiar with.
Right.
And like if you were to go to America, for example, the presenter, like in 91, early 92, Kiss won the contract to do Pepsi across America. So that was, for me, was the only good thing that came out of the breakfast show, was I got to do the breakfast shows in Chicago and LA. And in Chicago, we did them from Killer Bee 96, and I met up with Latour, and also people are still having sex, and he also did the brilliant track called Blue, which was in 9.5 weeks. When we were in Chicago, it was also the first anniversary of the Warehouse in their new location, not the location back in '86 when they were on, and which is actually, if people don't know this, they should. It's where the word house music comes from, because people would go to the Warehouse at the weekend and then go record shop buying and walk into the record shops and say, I want the tunes they play at the house. And that's where that's where house music comes from.
I didn't know that. I've just learned something today.
There you go. But if I go back to Killer Bee, we were so they had a whiteboard and it was written exactly what the presenter could say. So, hey, we got 45 minutes commercial free, and that was all he was allowed to say. You know, he had to read from the whiteboard and then not talk for 45 minutes. I could not talk for 4.5 seconds, but there you go.
I just wanted to say, following your success and the positions that you held at Kiss FM, they started a club night called Peach where you held a residency, and it was from here it was said that your career took off domestically and internationally. And you were listed 8 times top 100 DJ in DJ Magazine's top 100 poll. And you sold over 700,000 compilation albums. Yeah. I mean, that on top of the fact of how big Kiss FM was during those days, I mean, you must have been like on a roller coaster ride.
Kiss was huge. I mean, funnily enough, it was the only pirate that I never did. I did Solar, JFM, Horizon, but with Kiss, I didn't really like Kiss as a pirate because I know this also sounds crap, but I did hospital radio for 3 years where I was really taught how to talk to people. But I was listening, and you listened to most of the pirates back then, or even Kiss, and it was, hello, how you doing? You want to shout out? Call us now. Blah. And it's like, you're shouting at me, you're not talking to me.
Right.
But I did all the others, and that actually landed me Capital 95.8 in 84, 85, where I did the late night soul show, and that won me Broadcaster of the Year in James Hamilton's Record Mirror. And that was so prolific in those days because there was no music, no Ministry, no Mix Mag, no DJ International, no DJ Mag. The Bible was James Hamilton's column inside music, inside Record Mirror.
And I mean, just leading on also to the list of places that you've played, I mean, during that time, which is awesome. I mean, this includes the Almighty Glastonbury Festival, Homelands, Gatecrasher, God's Kitchen, hi to Chris Griffin whilst we're here, Passion,
Hi, Chris.
Slinky, Impulse, Earth Dance and Esperity, now Privilege. I mean, Privilege was one of the biggest and best clubs in the world, wasn't it?
Well, you know, to be honest, when I did Privilege, it was as part of the Kiss in Ibiza week, and I think I did it one other time, but you say it's impressive. I mean, yeah, I mean, it is, and I'm forever thankful for what I achieved, but if you look at, you know, people who, if you go back to the DJ Mag poll, especially the first one was 97 or 98, and I was 22 for the first 2 years, and that, in my, you know, when the poll actually meant something.
That's amazing, yeah.
And in my opinion, now it doesn't, because, you know, people buy votes. Like when you look at people's followers on Facebook or Instagram, 500,000.
So manipulated, isn't it?
And then when you look at if they make a post and you've got 10 people commented. They don't have 500,000, and of course, but DJ Mag was British, so the proportion of that, 80% of the top 100 were English DJs. But I remember going to that very first DJ Mag Awards, and we got there a little bit late. And it was counting down to 65, and I thought, oh, fuck, I've missed me. And went to the toilet a couple of times, as you do. And then it was got to 30, and I thought, oh, I've definitely missed me. And then I came up 22, and I'm like...
So you don't get told before you turn up? Right, all right.
No, but I was gobsmacked. And then, yeah, and it was brilliant. But if you look at where I play, and then John Fleming was lower than me in that year, and the following
John Fleming, yeah.
And we're very good friends, and I respect him.
Well, we're kind of leading up to a question that I really wanted to ask you was, how has this is like a two-pronged question, how has the club scene changed in your opinion, and in particular the crowd and the music taste since the days when you were at it? At your peak?
Massively, and I think this is one, any kind of and I don't mean this in a detrimental way, wannabe DJs, people who are starting out in their DJ career. Back then, you were either like me, like Chon, like Jules, we had radio shows, or you were a technical genius like James Zabiela or Eddie Halliwell. And that's how you made it. And then in 1998, the whole thing turned on its arse, and people were only then booking producers, and that has carried on all the way through till now.
It almost seems like a prerequisite. You've got to make tunes if you're going to play.
Now it's an absolute... So don't think about spending what I did 5 nights a week in the basement of Duncan's house, practicing, talking, practicing music. You go and buy a course at SAE or anywhere, and you do a production course. If you can do a musical 2-year music tech course, do that. Have piano lessons, because if you look at any flyer in any city, in any country, anywhere in the world, those names on the flyers, they're all producers. And, I remember when I first booked Above and Beyond, I think
Bloody hell, look at them, like...
Yeah, I know.
And Juna Beats and...
Yeah, I think I gave them their first London gig at Peach in 2004.
No way.
I might be wrong, but they had been producing, and I was friends with the guys because I'd actually been to their studio. But they came with like, we were on CDs then, so it was pre-USB. But those CDs, those original Pioneer 100s, I stayed with vinyl because they were just horrible. But they had their CD wallet and a list. So I said, "What is that? Your set list?" They said, "No, it's the keys that the tracks are in." So, why don't you write them on the CD? Isn't that? And I'm not being disrespectful Above and Beyond. I'm just using you as a complete thing that, the new producers, they weren't DJs, and so they had to work it out.
Well, this actually moves me into the next question. That you now live in Phangan, don't you, in Thailand?
Yeah.
How long have you actually lived there for, and what was it that actually made you decide to make it your home? Okay, I mean, I live in Thailand as well, so I know the food, the weather, and it's great, but I just wanted to get your...
Okay, well, I've lived there 14 years. I moved in 2008. So I came 2007, pre-Russian invasion on Koh Phangan. And it was, and they confirmed once a month in Pattaya, once a month in Bangkok. So I thought, okay, and I'm a Cancerian. I wanted...
So where do you actually, what are your commitments with regards to live? Where are you playing now, bookings in Thailand? I know you've got a residency now at Bling, but...
Yeah, I play most of the places on Koh Phangan.
But I've seen on Instagram, you're playing in the UK, so you did something with Brandon Block recently.
Oh yeah, I went, okay. So I went back to the UK back end of last year. We did 2 Peach nights. We did one at Steelyard and one at Electric. It was still COVID time. And they were hard to sell. We didn't make money, but we broke even. And then we came up with the idea of doing this Somi festival in April. that we lost money on that. The concept was brilliant. We jumped into bed with this great new brand in the UK called Shush, which is kind of quite rave housey. And I didn't play for them at their festival this year, but I did go because I'm very friendly with Justin, the guy who runs it. And they had, you mentioned them earlier, Seb, Jeremy Healy, what was Alex and Brandon? I played with Alex and Brandon somewhere else, but Seb was great. And there was Healy. Jeremy and I get on very well. So we had a good laugh. Seb was my favourite DJ of the night, and I was actually quite shocked. Not that I ever disrespected Seb, because all these festivals that are going on in England this summer, and no one sold out because there were so many post-COVID that everybody decided they wanted to do an event.
And I just want to ask you, what are your future plans with regards to, I think you're doing some music production now, or you have been as well, but you've got some recent releases all coming out soon.
Yeah, I mean, I started actually producing in 94, but with an engineer, because I had the radio, so I didn't need to be a producer. And then in 2004, when I lost Kiss, I bought a studio and I learned Logic. Had a lot of help, fun enough, from John 00 Fleming. He lived very near me, and Adam White. And I was 3 years celibate learning to produce that because I wanted my career to continue. So I've carried on producing, and now I'm on Ableton though because my big G5 went down and I just couldn't afford another one. Yeah. So I've been producing, still learning, but when I was back in the summer, I did put the time to good use, and Aston Harvey, one half of the Freestylers, good friend of mine, Aston wasn't far from where I was staying. So we did a couple of tracks, and the one that we did in August, when I got back, he sent me all the stems, and I did another version of it, and Wildcard have picked that up, which is a really kind of cool label. And but 2 years ago, I did The Lost City, which is the one that you told me you loved.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah.
That was after 3 months of masterclass lessons with I think he's not from Serbia, but Bosnia, somewhere there. But he's Berlin-based now, DJ Lion. And I was doing masterclass lessons with him, and he kind of oversaw the production of that whole track. So back in '95, I set up Cool World Records because Cool World Productions was John East, who is now one half of Clark and East, which are actually the main residents at Shush. They did this track called Invader, and we sold 30,000 copies of that. We had a Tall Paul remix done, Dylan and Dickens, but the original was actually always my fave. And we thought, this, with all these, as I mentioned before, with all these festivals being classic orientated, people are remixing, and no one was actually playing originals, they were all playing remixes. So about time we did Invader. So I did it with Aston, and we were true to the original in some parts, but completely took it away in other parts. But I needed a more cooler version, more deeper version for the island where I live. So I've done that, and Wildcard have offered to pick that up as well, but I'm also want to hold out, no disrespect to Vanilla Ace at all, because he's taken our other track, but we sold 30,000 of that. So really it should be a record that should land on Ultra or something like that, because, and John East, he's done a new remix with Nigel Clark, which is very rave house. So we've got 3 good mixes of remixes of one track, and so the plan to especially now, where I live on Phangan, now we're coming into monsoon. We've had terrible rain all through November, but monsoon season, just use that time to produce, and it's forever a learning curve,
an enjoyable one as well, isn't it?
I more enjoy going out to play, but I still get nervous, and sometimes I wish, why don't I only play tech house, or why don't I only play deep tech? It's easy, but I want to play all these genres, but it would be easier to be stuck in one. But no, but I still love playing. I find studio, because I'm not completely self-engineer, but I'm, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't have this massive amount of confidence. So I struggle sometimes. But yeah, whereas my son, Ben Gold, he's like a world famous trance producer now, and Ben did actually all the things that I mentioned earlier, 2-year music tech course, piano lessons, and now he's signed to Armada, and he loves going in the studio because he knows what he's doing. I know what I'm doing, but I don't play keyboards, and it's trial and error, and I just need to focus more.
Great, Graham, I would love to continue talking to you because I really do find it fascinating, but I'm going to have to wind it up now.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
I really appreciate talking to you today. It's been lovely meeting you.
And you, thank you.
I just want to say, viewers, we're now going to move over to filming Graham Gold's first gig, which is a monthly residency at the Bling Club on Buakhao in Pattaya. But before we do that, I do want to say that this has been filmed, this episode, in association with Club Mixed and their virtual reality Go Clubbing Metaverse Club. So if you're interested in virtual reality clubbing, then do go and check them out. I will put details of how you can get in contact with them in the description box. And of course, if you want to follow Graham, all of his details, his Instagram accounts.
Can I just ask you, I was Googling how to do my remote, my soundbar remote, no, my Amazon Fire Stick remote to work my TV and my soundbar, and I'm watching the YouTube vids, and the notes are in the description. Where is the description?
Well, you've got the viewer box just below. You scroll down and it's got all the text underneath the screen.
Thanks for that, because I was 6 hours watching how to do my remote, and it's in the description box. It's a description box. Okay,
thanks again. Take care. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Despite all of our differences, we always put family first.
The Lost City.
Despite all of our differences, we always put family first.
Bye.